there's a certain point, when certain things get like so dark and it's so absurd, they become profoundly hilarious.
This is Chris Garcia. He's a television writer, a stand-up comedian. He actually had a very critically acclaimed podcast called Scattered, wherein he talked about his family's journey from Cuba, the mystery of your father's past, and your father's battle with dementia. Talk to us about your choice to share this kind of thing with people, how it's affected your comedy and your life and the things you've been dealing with.
Sure. It's affected me a lot. I've always talked about my dad on stage. Since the first time I did stand-up, he's been the centerpiece of my act. He's larger than life, and I love him so much. And then when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I just stopped talking about him on stage, because it was too sad. But then as my dad's Alzheimer's kind of progressed and it got worse, and we became closer and everything, it almost became funnier in a way. It's like if you're drowning in the middle of the sea and you're fighting off sharks and it's been a week and then you get stung by a fucking bee or something. You're like, what? And so that's what happened. And my mom and my sister and I, we were a team and helping my dad and stuff. And one day, my mom calls me, and my mom and dad had been married for over 50 years, and they were high school sweethearts. And one day she calls me, and she's like, hey, so Boppy was very horny today. And I'm like, and she's like, you have to listen.
Please tell me more.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, what is? She's like, Boppy got very horny today, and he leaned in to kiss me, and he said, I don't know if I can do this. I have a wife and 2 kids. And so my dad tried to cheat on my mom with my mom, and I was like, but he didn't, because he was a gentleman and he loved her, but he had a type, and so stuff like that, you're like, this is so sad, but it's also, you can't deny that it's hilarious. Yeah. And those little moments are everything when you're going through it, Yeah. And almost, they go hand in hand, and it's a method of survival and coping and everything. That's the beauty about laughter. It's so helpful.
How do you use comedy as a tool to kind of survive caregiving? Do you feel like you're also using it to sort of teach people about the disease and about your experience?
I think so. I don't think my intention is to be a professor, like a teacher or anything, But I think it does help communicate how difficult Alzheimer's and being caregiver and dementia is in a way. So I kind of feel like being able to be funny about it is like the peanut butter and the dog food, it makes it enjoyable for the dog. And it's like, this is gross, hey, but there's some peanut butter. And so I guess it kind of helps communicate it in a way, because it could be kind of bleak,
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's, kind of what we try to do with our events, right? We try to infuse our events with comedy and levity and be like, hey, yeah, it's sad, but look over here, you can laugh too.
Alzheimer's and dementia is so dark and it's so bleak, and it'll make you sad, it'll make you angry, it'll make you hate the world. It's like all these dark things, and it's also hilarious. Yeah. So don't hide from that. Especially for caregivers, you can't hide from that, because you're almost denying the connection that you have for the person that you're caring for, and your connection that you have for the world and for your family. Laughter is so it's so crucial to our existence. So just let yourself laugh when something dark and bleak and happens when you're caretaking. Just bathe in that.
Obviously, we're hilarity for charity,
Yeah.
and so from the beginning, we've been trying to sort of balance that humor with this terrible darkness.
Yeah.
And how do you approach balancing that? You know what I mean?
I think a lot of it boils down to respect and context. The context is that I really love my dad, and I love him, and he's my guy. And laughter in these areas have to be about the intent, and the intent is to connect and make people actually feel good and offer almost like a lifeline in these dark moments, to feel seen and acknowledged, you know, and in a way it brings us closest together, like especially with other caretakers, because then you start sharing war stories and you're like, oh my God, let me tell you about the time this happened.
Right.
And then you never get to do that.
Right.
Well, you like, because it bums people out sometimes. Even your really good friends are sometimes like, don't even bring it up because they don't even know how to talk to you about it, right? Because it's a bummer and they're scared to bum you out. But to create like a community like this and to be able to talk about things authentically and have a laugh at no one's expense, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you identify as a caregiver. I mean, has that helped shape your sense of community and the people you connect with, and in general your life in comedy?
Yeah. I don't know if I identify as a caregiver. I mean,
You are. Yeah. I'm identifying you as a caregiver.
So fascinating, and I'll say this to you, which is like, I wasn't my mom's primary caregiver, but my dad was. And who did I care for? My dad. You know, and Seth, I would say, was my caregiver. And so we're all caregivers in some way, right?
It's true.
So very much, you're a caregiver. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Welcome or not.
I feel the same way. Like my mom is the real caregiver. I'm like there too, you know. Being a caregiver has given me a deep sense of meaning and pride that I didn't have. I feel like this almost was a gift. I was kind of like a guy in the first 10 minutes of one of your movies, just like eating hot dog spaghetti in my boxers, like a bong in my lap.
Living the life.
Yeah, living the life. You know, but this, to be there for my dad was an incredible expression of love. And that's what it is for every caregiver. It's like the most selfless thing you can do, because it's like, it's so hard, and you sacrifice so much and your own mental health, and you put it all aside to show love for somebody, you know. And it's really a special thing that I don't think caregivers give themselves enough credit. Like I was even like, I'm not a caregiver, you know, but like, we should be proud. You should be proud. You should have the same pride as someone like an astronaut that's been to the moon or something, because you accomplish, it's so hard. It's so hard, you know? So like, I hope that caregivers out there that are going through it right now really remember that what they're doing is something special, even as tireless and thankless as it is, that you should walk around with the satisfaction of being a good person and the pride that you're taking care of somebody else, you know, because these people should get military discounts or senior discounts or something, you know. Just let them get to the front of the line at Disneyland, you know. They deserve that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, do you see, when you write and you do comedy, do you see it as a tool of helping reduce the stigma of the disease? Because some people might feel guilty about even laughing at it, and I think probably somebody getting up there and making them feel okay about that is helpful.
I think it humanizes it, and it's like it puts things into perspective.
Well, and I think that, like, you know, seeing, you know, you experiencing that and it bringing sort of a lightness to a pretty dark moment, right? Like, I feel like my mom, she kind of had a few jokes that she told continuously, and she would sort of amuse herself. There was a tag in my car. Remember, she would always make jokes about that one tag. Oh, you still have this tag in here? And like every time, and it'd be like, yep. And like, I feel like we almost left it in there so that she could like feel like she was.
She had a bit.
Yeah, she
That's
kind of
really
had a bit.
that's really sweet.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have advice for anyone who's going through it, and how to bring levity in, and how to sort of look at the other side and find a smile or a laugh in there?
Yeah, don't forget to be able to laugh about it. You know, it really helps.
Yeah.
And also, don't forget to take care of yourself, like the emergency info in the plane. It's like, you know, put the mask over yourself first, or also like, just take a moment to appreciate yourself and enjoy yourself and walk away from this and have your own identity.
Yeah, absolutely. I often say, like, you can be full of grief and sadness. That doesn't mean you can't add some joy on top of it.
Yeah.
And that grief might still be running underneath. There's always room for joy, even if the sadness seems to be filling the room. There's always a little space to sort of let some laughter in. So.
Yeah, totally. And especially in the world we're living today, there's so many things that are going on in the world that can be so dark, but make sure to just live in those little pockets of joy. Allow yourself to be in those little pockets, you know, because you need it.